Hi, I'm James Schillinglaw, reporting from Virtuoso Travel Week, and I'm here with Dolph Burlee, who's the relatively new CEO of Lindblad Expeditions. And if you don't know Lindblad, I think you should, and there's a lot going on with this company, and we're going to learn all about it from Dolph on Insider Travel Report. Now, Dolph, first of all, it's great to meet you. We just met. It's great. You're coming into a great company. Let's talk, first of all, just about your background and why you decided to join Lindblad Expeditions.
Well, James, it's exciting to be with you on this program, and hello to all of the travel advisors out there in the world. I've loved your program as I've watched it over these last few months. I came to this company after about 25 years in what I call the joy business. And for me, that's been location-based entertainment. I was the COO for House of Blues for a number of years, the president for Lucky Strike Entertainment, which was the transformation of bowling, and then more recently the president of Dave & Buster's, and then most recently the CEO for Topgolf Entertainment Group. And so I've traditionally been with private equity-backed companies that have then gone public.
Right.
And we sold Topgolf, and so it created an opportunity for me to join this wonderful company that is so much closer to my own personal roots and the mission.
Talk a little bit about that, because your personal roots with the focusing on green, environmental, sustainable, right?
Well, that's exactly right. And so I grew up in a family of environmentalists. My dad was the president of National Audubon, and previous to that, the Environmental Conservation Committee commissioner for New York State. And so I grew up with this as just part of our being. And at one point, way early in my career, I worked for Waste Management, and we were cleaning up things like the Exxon Valdez. And so the opportunity to work for a company that has not only an environmental ethos, but also a wonderful guest experience, joy-oriented, wonder-oriented experience is it's a dream come true for me to be able to do this combination of things.
Well, it certainly seems a great fit for you. This has been one of the pioneering companies. They were talking sustainable before anybody was, and your founder, Sven and his father before have really been focused on this for so long, and I respect them so much for it. And you now have a great company, and you just keep growing. And actually, you're not turning the company public because they're already public, right?
Well, we're already public, and I should quickly say Sven is a remarkable partner. There's no substitute or replacement for Sven Lindblad. He's now gone to the co-chairman role, and I come in as CEO, and so he will continue to work on innovating wonderful itineraries and pioneering different parts of the world. And then what I'm able to do is work with all of my wonderful colleagues to help run the company and to try to deliver a great experience, and then to grow the company fairly meaningfully, which we're doing in a few ways.
Well, let's talk about that, because you are growing right this year, a year after pandemic, really. You have 2 new ships coming out. One's already out. Talk about those 2 new vessels, because they are very, I would say unique is a horribly overused word, but they are very different kinds of ships. And I just saw some of the images of them at a presentation that one of your colleagues was giving upstairs. We're actually here at the Virtuoso Travel Week, and so there's giving presentations all about this, and it was amazing. I guess I'd seen a lot of it, but not all that. And so talk about those 2 new ships, if you could.
So these are very, very special ships. It's the Endurance and the Resolution, both under the National Geographic banner. And they are the most state-of-the-art expedition ships that on Earth. And there's a few reasons why. One is that they are the entire life's work of Sven Lindblad and his remarkable team, putting all of their best efforts into 2 really important things. One is the actual engineering of the ships, which allows them to go farther and deeper into the ice than ever before.
I think they're one of the highest polar categories, yes. Polar class, right?
Polar class 5.
Yeah, which is a good class to have, in case you didn't know.
Yes, that's a great class. Like if you were a polar ship, you would probably want to be a polar class 5. And so there's that. In addition to that, we have this X-bow, which is
I've heard about this. This is amazing.
So this breaks ice far better than other things, but just as importantly, there is a configuration under the water that allows the ship to sail smoothly in relatively rough waters. And so the idea is for the Drake Passage, which is famously dramatic, this is something that is a smoother, better ride. And so that's just the engineering side of the marine portion, I think, of what we're talking about. The additional marvel is what goes on in the guest side of things. Right. And so the amenities for the guests are really something special. Like I would encourage anyone to think about a really long voyage on this ship because
it's interesting. I saw the sauna and the rooms and the dining. We're here. You always think of Expedition as maybe health facilities. Absolutely, yeah. This is a luxury ship. I got to tell you.
Yes, we don't really think of ourselves as luxury at Lindblad because we're really about the authentic outdoor experience. But I tell you what, this would be a significant upgrade from my house where I live in terms of the luxuriousness. And so it's a beautiful experience, really great culinary capability with what we've done with the kitchens. So I think that you can be remarkably comfortable, very entertained, well taken care of, and see the most remarkable places in the world.
Now tell us where these ships are going. One's already out, right?
Yeah, so these are polar vessels, right? And so the one is now, the Endurance launched, and she's doing circumnavigation of Iceland and then up into the Greenland ice pack. Right. And then she will then make her way to Antarctica. And then in November, the Resolution comes off the docks in Norway and will also head down to Antarctica. And so these will be ships that spend the predominant amount of their time at the poles, but then as they make their way north to south or south to north, then they'll have interesting stops along the way.
Yeah, now that is one of the things. You have some amazing itineraries. People think you only go to Antarctica or the Arctic, but you actually have expeditions all around the world, right? I saw some of your itineraries and they were amazing. You go to Egypt, for example. You go to South America. You have ships in the Galapagos. You have ships. You have a ship going to Tahiti. So it's not just Antarctica. You're well known for that, and these two new ships will be perfectly suited for that. But you have other vessels that go everywhere.
Well, that's right. In fact, we're on all 7 continents, and we will have 9 ships going here shortly, and that doesn't include the charters that we do, which are also very successful in Europe and in Africa and elsewhere. And so we're excited just to bring to guests the most remarkable destinations with the best curation as a result of our wonderful naturalists and all of our staff. And we think we can do it in ways that are increasingly innovative and more exciting.
Now, for travel advisors out there, you also are launching a brand new, I think you call it 360. It's sort of an educational training platform. Talk us a little bit about that and what's to come with that.
Historically, the company did not use travel advisors nearly as much as we expect to in the future. And there's many reasons for that, but what we realize is that we have to really support them and give them what they need, what you need out there, in order to be successful. And so we have this platform called Expedition 360. And it's a training and resource platform that allows people to learn more about our itineraries, our ships, very importantly about environmental sustainability.
Very important for you.
Yeah, so that they can talk about that with credibility to the guest. So I think this will be something that will allow travel advisors to be less stressed around a number of these questions, but also become more and more educated in a way that they are, I think, more confident, and also these are very, fascinating subjects. And so just in terms of enrichment in your own lives, I like to think that this will be a gift that way.
No, it's absolutely. I think a lot of advisors are looking forward to seeing that. And I guess one of the last questions I have for you, obviously this expeditions category is really booming. Now, of course, if you add all the tonnage in, it doesn't add to one giant Royal Caribbean ship. But it seems there's tremendous interest, and you guys were the pioneers, and you seem to be stepping up to the plate to raise the bar even farther, even if you're faced with a lot of other competition from a lot of new lines and old lines that are getting into the expedition. Talk a little bit about that and how
Sure.
you're going to meet the competition and maybe best them.
Well, thank you for that idea. That is in fact the goal. And you're right. I mean, Lars-Erik Lindblad was the first person to take guests to the poles and also to the Galapagos. And then Sven, on top of in his father's legacy, has even improved upon that. Right. So innovation is a deep part of who we are. And we believe that we have the most advanced and experienced expedition leaders and also itinerary builders in the business. And of course, Sven himself continues to be
I interviewed him just a few months ago. He is on top of it. He's still so on top of it. He now has the freedom now to imagine what could be, right?
We are all excited about that, and
it could be a little weird, but dangerous for you. Be careful.
Well, it's one of the reasons I joined. I've worked with a number of founders over time, and Sven is really remarkable.
He's a visionary.
Visionary and just a remarkable human being, right. In so many ways. And so we absolutely have to innovate, and some of that will be technology, and some of it will be expertise. But I think the most important thing about our company is really the mission and purpose. that relates to the guest experience and then also doing good things in the world. And so that's a very deep thing for us, and it comes through all of our people, and we won't give that up. And I think other people talk about it and use some of the same words. So our responsibility is to make sure we can educate the whole travel advisor community about how deep that is with us and how much that translates into the guest experience. And I think we will hopefully live up to that need and continue a good reputation in that way.
I'm sure you will, and I'm looking forward to later to taking a look at some of these new ships that are coming out, and hopefully we'll get a chance to sail together soon.
That would be a lot of fun.
But anything else you'd like to see our 90,000 travel advisors out there you'd like to say to them?
Well, I just want to thank you all for hanging tough through what is a really difficult time.
It was a tough time.
Oh man, with COVID. So we are all feeling that, but here's why I'm very hopeful. One is that here at Virtuoso, there are so many passionate, great people. And so if you want to feel energy, you can get it through the camaraderie that comes with this wonderful conference. And then the second is that the guests who are going out are having the times of their lives. We are getting guest feedback from all the itineraries and in all places that is really something special. And I think there's a pent-up physical demand, but also an emotional demand that people have. So deep in the human spirit is a great interest in expedition travel. And we have kept the company going. We've got our great team still intact. Our CFO did a wonderful job of making sure that we have a good balance sheet.
Right.
So we will be in it for the long haul. And I do hope that as many travel advisors as possible can come and visit with us, and if not only digitally, also in person, because we welcome bigger relationships with all of them.
Well, you are in two categories: expedition, sustainable, which, as we emerge from the pandemic, are two key points that people say that's what they're interested in doing for the future. Bucket list travel, things like that. Everybody wants to go to these places, and you're incredibly well positioned to do that. Dolph, I want to thank you for taking the time to spend with us here at Virtuoso Travel Week. I know it's going to be a busy week for you. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. It's your first one. It actually has been bigger in the past. They've done a good size here, but it's not the same size because of COVID. We're all getting a little cutback, but I tell you something, it's great to be back here, regardless of the size, to be with all these energetic people, as Dolph said, and it is just a wonderful conference. And there's going to be a lot more travel advisor conferences in the future from other groups that I'm sure will be equally as good, but this is the first one back, and so we're all kind of, wow, we're here.
We're fired up. We're going to make this happen, and it's a highlight for me to spend some time with you, James. I hope I see you again.
We'll see you soon. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.